This site is in land condition B. So if we look at our three components of land condition again, pasture, soils and woodland, starting with the pasture, we still have some of our 3P species here. So for example, there is some black speargrass scattered through the pasture. We also still have some of our Verano stylos in here, some of the sown legumes, but increasingly we're starting to get some of these species. So this is actually one of the wiregrass species, and it's an undesirable species. So from the point of view of livestock production, it has very little leaf, it is very stemmy, it's not palatable. So the more of this in the pasture, the less ability there is to carry livestock. We also have increasing amounts of Indian couch, which is a lot of this other finer material that's in the pasture. It's what we call an intermediate grass. So we don't class it as a 3P, but it's nowhere near as inferior as, say, something like the wiregrass. So that's the pasture component. If we now look at the soils, you can see that there's a lot less cover on the ground here compared to the A condition. So we've got more bare ground. We still have some reasonable cover levels, but there's more bare soil here than there was on the previous site. And we also have some evidence of soil movement. So for example, you can see in some areas that the coarser fragments in the soil are at the surface, which means the fine material has been eroded away and has moved down slope. So the soil has deteriorated as well, which means there's probably more runoff going out of this system than what there would be if the land was in A condition. So that's the pasture and the soil. If we now look at the woodland is still quite open, but there's quite a bit of currant bush in there, which is a native shrub, and the greater the density of currant bush, the less carrying capacity there is in the country. Now this site was burnt last year, which has checked the currant bush, but there's still a lot of it present. And over the years it will probably increase, and so fire may need to be used in future. So based on the three components, the fact that the pasture component has deteriorated somewhat, we still have some 3P species here, but we've got increasing levels of the less desirables. Based on the soil, the fact we've got less cover, there's evidence of soil movement, and we have some evidence of increasing density of woody plants. So this has dropped the carrying capacity here back, which means the land condition is also reduced by a similar amount.